About to witness a debate on the motion. This House believes that government should prioritize protecting traditional jobs over embracing technological innovation, even if it risks short-term economic disruption. I am Onitsha, your host and a moderator for today's debate. May I invite Gerald to open the case for the proposition?
This House believes that government should prioritize protecting traditional jobs over embracing technological innovation, even if risking short-term economic disruptions. Honorable judges, worthy opponents, and esteemed audience, we gather today to defend a fundamental principle that human dignity must precede technological progress. This debate is not merely about economics, it's the philosophical reckoning with our moral obligation of governance in the face of disruption. I propose that governments have a duty to protect the traditional livelihood, not out of fear of change, but because justice demands it. My case rests on three philosophical foundations: the social contract promise of stability, the virtue of economic justice, and the limits of the utilitarian progress. Panel, my first argument shows in essence that social contract and stability, at the heart of political philosophy, lies the social contract, the idea that the government exists to secure the citizens' welfare in exchange of their consent. Hobbes warned that life without order is nasty, brutish, and short. Lucius argued that states should protect collective well-being, not enable the ambition of few. Panel, when technology displaces workers without recall, the social contract is broken. The Ludians were not anti-progress. They were protesting betrayal. Their livelihood were erased without consultation or compensation. Rawls' theory of justice would demand technological gain benefit the least advantaged first. Panel, if innovation undermines the basic security that binds the society, that is not progress. It is the violation of the state's most sacred duty. My second level of argument or analysis: economic justice as a virtue. Aristotle taught that justice is the highest virtue of policy. It requires distributing benefits and burden fairly, and not blindly worshipping deficiency. Each trip lies as a microcosm of a large ethical failure. Carter's categorical imprecative would ask, what if all industries discard all workers? The society would collapse. Yet, Tech Elite acts as if their disruption is exempt from moral scrutiny. Marx exposed how capital is explorable under the guise of progress. Today's gig economics is feudalism, with app workers bearing risks while platforms profit. To prioritize innovation over protection is to endow a new aristocratic algorithm owners, leaving many in precarism. Justice demands that no one be sacrificed for the greater good. Panel, with all these reasons, I'm proud to propose.
Thank you for that wonderful submission, Gerald. May I invite Kosi to open the case for the opposition?
Honorable judges, friends in argument, and respected audience, today I stand firmly against this regressive motion. The opposition does not deny the challenges of technological disruption. We simply recognize that stagnation is not the solution. Our case rests on three pillars. Firstly, economic necessities. We'll prove that innovation is the engine of prosperity. Secondly, human potential. We'll prove that workers deserve evolution, not preservation. Thirdly, global realities. We'll prove that protectionism is economic suicide in a competitive world. My first line of argument is to prove economic necessity of the motion. Creative destruction isn't optional, it's how societies advance. Consider the historical precedent. The Industrial Revolution displaced artisans but created unprecedented prosperities. The same fears were raised about tractors replacing farmhands, yet agriculture became more productive and food security improved. Wealth creation. New technologies don't just replace jobs, they create entirely new industries. For every factory job lost to automation, multiple tech, services, and design jobs emerge. Consumer benefits. Protectionism forces consumers to subsidize inefficiency through fake products and higher prices. The proposition approach will freeze economic in time while the world moves forward. This isn't protection, it's economic self-sabotage. Secondly, I'll prove why human potential shouldn't be undermined. The most patronizing myth is that workers can't adapt. Our opponent treats laborers like museum pieces to be preserved rather than people capable of growth. Dignity through progress. True worker dignity comes from empowering people with new opportunities without trapping them with obsolete roles, retaining realities. Countries like Singapore show that targeted upskilling programs allow smooth transitions to higher value work. The youth perspective. Why should young generations be denied future opportunities to protect outdated jobs? When the automobile replaced horses, drowns carriages. We didn't ban cars to save stable hands. We created mechanics road builders, engineers. Human potential strives when we embrace change, not resist it. Panel, my third line of argument is to prove global realities in a competitive world. Hesitation means obsolescence. Innovation leaders like United States, China, South Korea reap benefits from the technological adoption through higher wages and better services. Protectionist cautionary tales. France's rigid labor market breed chronic youth unemployment, while Japan's resistance to disruption contributed to its lost decades. Developing world leapfrogging. Nations like Kenya skipped landlines entirely for mobile banking. Should they have protected telegraph operators instead? The proposition offers false choice between job and technology. The real choice is choosing between leading the future or becoming its casualty. In conclusion, this motion asks us to choose fear over ambition, the past over the future, but history lessons are clear. Societies that embrace change flourish. Those that resist it becomes economic backwaters. True compassion means preparing workers for tomorrow's job, not preserving yesterday's. We reject this motion not because we disregard workers, but we believe in their potential to do more, to be more. Vote against this motion and vote for human advancement. Ever proud to oppose.
My ears are not bigger than yours. I will now invite Chidibem to advance the case of the proposition.
The cold hard reality this tech-obsessed opposition refused to acknowledge is that their reckless pursuit of innovation has left a trail of broken life across our nation. We are not debating abstract economic theory today. We are fighting for the survival of working family being crushed under the wheels of so-called progress. Look at what their unregulated disruption has already brought. One thriving factory now riddled with opioid addiction. Skilled tradesmen now reduced to delivering fast food. Entire generation watching their life food evaporate overnight. This isn't creative destruction, it's economical warfare waged against the working class. Their glossy promises of retraining and transaction are crude jokes. Tell that to the 50-year-old mechanic whose entire life saving went to a retraining for a tech job that never materialized. Tell that to the single mother who worked 3-gig economy job just to put a roof over her children's head. Tell that to the community that hollowed out when the factories moved out and the robots moved in. Let's demolish opposition fantasy argument right now. When they claim new jobs to replace the old, show me where these magical jobs are appearing. The brutal truth is that for each high-paying tech job created, we get 10 precarious giga positions with no benefits and no future. When they preach about inevitable progress, ask them why corporation profits skyrocketed while workers' wages stay stagnant for decades. This isn't progress, it's plunder. The human cost is staggering. Behind every uploaded job is a family's pride shattered, a lifetime of skill made worthless, a community economic foundation crumbling. What happens to our social fabric when stable? Dignified work disappear? What happens to our democracy when economic security becomes a privilege to a selected few? Panel, because of all this, let the motion stand.
Splendid! I now invite Franklin to extend the case of the opposition and summarize the debate.
Judges, the House, let's expose the rot at the core of this motion. What we heard from Team Proposition isn't compassion, but they are whimpers of economic dinosaurs terrified of progress. Their case commits 3 unforgivable sins. First, it mistakes stagnation for virtue. Second, it insults workers' adaptability. Third, it puts a wrong sense of security, condemning millions into poverty. Hegel's dialectics prove progress inevitable. Thesis meets antithesis to form something greater. Marx understood technological upheavals destroys fidelity, yet Team Proposition changed humanity to the past like Prometheus bonds. They invoke Rawls while ignoring his different principles. True justice demands innovation that ultimately uplifts the worst out. Their chitin difference collapses when you universalize their principles. If all societies secured absolute jobs, we would all be breaking our backs in the field than debating in this chamber. Panel, let's autopsy Proposition's protectionist fantasy. Every protected jobs needs higher prices for families who are already struggling. Every blocked innovation leads to loss of life for slower medical progress. Every artificial barrier needs us surrendering to China's robots and India's digital revolution. Automobiles didn't stop work. They created highway, suburbs, and tourism. Computer didn't create unemployment. It spawned entire new industries. Panel, the proposition's economic illiteracy will make us the choice while the world races ahead. Mr. Chair, this isn't just bad policy, it's immoral. Who are the propositions to decide that a cancer patient should die waiting for a protected radiologist when AI could save them? That the poor should pay more to subsidize inefficiency? That the young will be denied of their job opportunities to preserve obsolete jobs? Because of all this, ladies and gentlemen, let the motion fall. Thank you.
That was engaging, and that brings us to the end of today's debate. This debate is a part analysis of Jonathan Gullible's adventure. Thank you for your time and God bless you. I am still Onitsha. See you next time. Bye.